Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, Javier, Monkwa, Margaret, Ando, Idaya, Amelia, and our awesome facilitator, Felicia. So thank you for taking your time to join us. The first thing I want to talk about is, um, I'm sure everyone who is here has, gone for a training, gone for a meeting, sat in a class that's, was good. You actually learned something, or you're excited about it, or it was good, and then you come out and then someone asks you how was the event, and you're like, "Ah, it was good, it was nice, oh, I enjoyed it," and the person asks you, so what did you learn? And you're like, oh, I learned a lot. It's like, okay, can you share? And you find yourself not being able to accurately remember what exactly you learned or what it meant to you, you know. And one of the reasons why that happens is, see, as human beings, how we learn is as much about what we are hearing as how we are hearing it, right? If you look at our posture when we are, let's say, in class, right, and we are enjoying a lecture, if I ask you to describe someone who is in a class who is enjoying a particular lecture, you can paint a picture for me. You can tell, oh, the person is actually sitting upright. The person is, keen and interested and listening in. The person is probably smiling. The person is engaging. When the teacher is asking a question, the person is raising the hand. If I ask you to paint a picture for me of someone who is not interested in a particular lecture or, a training, you can't describe that person, right? The person is laid back, relaxed, doing other things, talking to other people, right? So it's very important that you've already seen some value in this particular training, and I'm sure it is of interest. That's why you've taken the time to join. So what I'm saying is to get the maximum benefit out of this precious 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes that you are sharing or you are investing in this particular training. It's important that you check your posture whilst you're in the training because you don't want it to happen again where, okay, I came in, I spent 1 hour, I listened in, I probably enjoyed it, but I like if I'm thinking back at what I learned, I can't really remember. Are you with me? If you are with me, and I want you to engage, it's very important to me that you engage. So, if you are getting it, if you are getting what I'm saying, type yes or why. Yeah, awesome. So it's very important. So what I want you to do is check your posture, right? I want you to participate. I want you to engage. I'll be asking questions, and then I will expect you to answer. Along the line, there will be questions you can ask, and then also come in and then also answer them for you. So, this training we're doing vision board. Give me a second. Let me share my screen, and then we go from. Okay, I'm coming. Okay. Yeah. Can you see my screen? And also, if you can you see my screen? Yeah. Also, if you can put it on your video, that would be awesome. Yeah. So that I can see your beautiful and handsome faces. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So my name is Obadiah. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Ahaspora for this amazing opportunity. My name is Obadiah Abankuna, known to many as Diabali. I am I'm international sales and marketing and also a certified life coach. I do a lot of trainings in mindset because my journey started when, like everyone else, you grow up, you're told go to school, learn hard, get a good grade. When you come out, you're going to be rich. One thing I heard so many times when I was growing up was we don't have money. I come from a very humble home. Sunya in Sunyane, father was a pastor who, not the rich kind of pastor, the ones who spent most of their time in the villages building churches. It was that kind. My mom was a teacher, public teacher, so we had enough, for food, for basic amenities, not small. So spend most of my time doing other odd jobs. At the point, I was a scrap dealer. At the point, I used to hawk water to, just make ends meet and then, move through so that I wasn't too much of a burden. And then also support my other siblings. So my dream occupation when I was growing up wasn't to be a lawyer or a doctor or a professor. My dream occupation was to be rich. So if you asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up, I would have told you to be a rich man. So how do you become rich? You're told go to school, learn hard, get the good grades. So I went through that. whole, go to school, learn how to get the good grades, and eventually, I went to UDS to do nursing. The whole plan was after nursing, maybe travel outside the country or go and do medicine and then practice as a doctor so that I make a lot of money. But when I got there, I realized it's something that you do for passion. It's something that you do to help people provide value, but the income doesn't correlate with the work you are doing, right? And for someone who wanted to be rich, it wasn't in line. So decided to look at other things, and then I got into business. Now, why I'm saying this is it's very important that what we believe we want and what we actually want and what we get are aligned, but usually they are not the same thing, right? Along the line, we'll get into it. I'll kind of explain what I mean by this, right? So let's just get in from here. We are going to get started. So, okay. Now, I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe the greatest book. I read a lot of books, but I believe the greatest book that is ever written is the Bible. It's been copied. It's the biggest selling book. There's so much nuggets, there's so much knowledge in there that if you understand, you can utilize to your advantage. And one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is Habakkuk 2:2-3, right? And it says something. It says, and then God answered, write this, okay? Write what you see, write it out in big block letters so that it can be read on the run, right? The King James Version says, so that anybody who sees it can run with it. All right. This Vichy message is witness pointing to what is coming. It's arches for the coming. It can hardly wait, and it doesn't lie. If it seems slow in coming, wait. It's on the way, and it will come right to you. So it's important that we understand that we, as human beings, are created as creators, right? We are created as creators. And when I say this, what I mean is, if you look at everything that we have on this call right now, right, from what we are wearing, from what we are using, the technology we are using, all these things were created by other human beings like us, right? If you even pick this computer aside and we are taking the individual components in the computer, someone discovered this, that led to someone else discovering this, to someone else building this. So we are created as builders. We are created as creators, right? Created in the image of the creator. So we create. Now, the challenge that we face, one of the biggest challenges we face as human beings is that we instead of going out to create what we want, we wait for things to come to us, right? Let me give an example. You see, you start as a Ghanaian, when you start growing up, and I'm going to ask this as a question. How many of us, is there anyone here who, like, between your parents to your boyfriends and girlfriends to your teachers, like someone sat you down and asked you, Margaret or Idaya, what exactly do you want for your life, or what do you want? What is important to you? Like the person asked you with intent. It's not like the person wanted you to want something, but the person wanted to understand what is important to you, what you want to do, and what it will mean to you. Has there ever been a case like your parents sat you down, you were about to go to school, and they asked you, which school do you want to go to? Which course do you want to do? Why is it important to you? Has any of you had that experience before? I would want to hear. Has any of you had that experience before where someone sat you down and really wanted to understand what is important to you, or what you want for yourself, and the person didn't want you to want something that they want for you? Anyone?
Hi,
Anyone?
I can go.
Okay,
Hi.
Margaret, yeah.
So personally, for my education, I didn't have anyone who just like sat and asked me what I wanted to do. But then in my final year at Ashesi, I had career advisor who is so like close to me, and personally, I was just jumping from one opportunity to the other without having any clear plan. So I went to him in contemplating that somebody has offered me national service, and he just asked me, what exactly do you want to do, Margaret? What is like that kind of questions, right? And after that, I sat down, reflected, and that's when I actually decided that this is who I want to be. Then I took steps to start creating personal statements and all that. So in terms of a school, no, but in terms of career, I had a career advisor who asked me that question. It has really been helpful for me.
Let me ask this. When the person asked you, what do you want? You've done so well in your life to get to the point where you are in Ashesi, the best school, you've got the best tertiary school in Ghana. Like, you've done so well. You figured almost everything out to get to that point. So when this person asks you, this is the basic, most instinctual thing that you should actually know because it is you. You know yourself. When the person asks you, what do you want for yourself? Was it something that just came to you, boom, and you had it and you were enlightened and you talked about it, or you didn't even know that you didn't know? Did you get my question?
Yes, I did. I didn't. So I gave him answers, but I knew they were not. I don't know how to put it. Like just something off my head, but I noticed that they were not really the right way. Yeah, so I actually went back to sit down and reflect on a lot of things. Just writing what are my interests, what are my skills, strengths, development areas, hobbies, like every single thing out. Yeah, by the time that he asked me, honestly, I think I was just jumping on from. It's like anything that comes my way, I feel like this is exciting. Let me just accept it.
Thank you for sharing. Is there anyone else on the call who it has been in this position before, or right now, even as I'm asking this question, what exactly do you want for yourself? It's not clear. Like it's not really clear for you. Is there anyone else like that? Is there anyone else like that? Or you are all clear and you know where like you have your vision all planned out and you know exactly what you want. Now, anyone else? Is there anyone like that? Okay. So the reason why, and this is like the basic, yeah. Baden has reached down. You have an experience like that.
Yes, please. So
Okay.
my after my undergraduate, my auntie kept asking what's my career path, what I want to do and all that. And even though I think I was giving her the answers that in my head were supposed to satisfy the question she's asking, she just felt, even till now, she still feels like I don't have a clear career path and I'm to find a coach, a mentor and all that too. And I have to sit back to, even I always sit back to analyze what I want, who I want to be. That's like when I go back to her with the answers, she's still not satisfied with it, and I have to go back to redo my homework. And I just give up on going back to her to give her the answers.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So the reason why I'm asking this is, see, the greatest and most powerful tool or technology that was ever created is the human mind, right? Everything that we see with Marble, just imagine, we are all joining this call from different places, right? I'm here in Accra, I'm at Community 17. Yes, you are joining from different parts of the city and the continent, and we are all here, like we are all present. We are having a just think about that map, but it's not even as powerful as the mind that created it. The most powerful machine, the most powerful tool, instrument that was ever created is a human mind because it can build, it can create, it can figure everything out. Now, we figured everything out in our life to get to this point. We figured out how to learn, how to talk. When you were born, you didn't know how to talk, you didn't know how to eat, you didn't know how to do anything, but you kept learning and figuring it out to this point. But the most important thing, which is what we want, we've never figured out. Most of us. And I promise you, you being on this call to even ask yourself the question like, is Ejiba, did I get that right? The Baden I can say, but I'm struggling with the first one. So
yeah, you got it right.
I got it right. All right. So just imagine. Then if you look at the number of people who have even asked themselves that question, it's less than 5% of the world's population. Most people never ask themselves that question. That is, what do I want for myself? Okay, what is important to me? What are my needs? What are my wants? Why are they important? Most people don't ever ask themselves that question. And because most people don't ever ask themselves those questions, they never get those answers and they never get to live that life they are looking for. You see, most of the time we think we want things. We think things will give us a certain level of pleasure. We get there, we get that pleasure, and they never last. We get there, we get frustrated. We think we want particular jobs. We think we want particular internships. We think we want particular experiences. We think we want to be with particular people, and then we get there, and then we don't even enjoy it because it's not what we really want. Why? You see, because we've never asked ourselves the most important question, what do I want for myself? Because life is a single player game, right? When I say life is a single player game, what I mean is your experience are your experience. It's a subjective thing, right? Everything I say right now, everyone on this call is processing it on an internal level from your understanding, from your beliefs, from what you've already been exposed to, from what you understand the words I'm saying to me, right? So even though I'm saying what I'm saying is coming to all of you, how you are internalizing it, how you're understanding it, and how you are going to implement it is going to be on different levels because life is a subjective experience, right? So if we are living life as a subjective experience, and everything that we interact with, we'll still internalize it and understand it from our own perspective. Then it's important that we understand life and do life from our subjective point of view. Like, what is important to me as a person, right? What is important? Why is it important to me? Um, how do I want to achieve that? Why? What do I want to achieve? So all these internal questions, when we start asking them, then we'll now start looking at it. But when we don't ask these questions, what happens is that what someone else wants for us becomes what we want. So most of us on this call, we've actually been programmed to want what everyone else wants as what we want, right? Let's talk about relationships, even relationships, right? Everyone is, oh, I want this kind of man, I want this kind of man, I want this kind of man, I want this kind of lady. So we grow up with the programming. Someone is telling us, someone is instilling in us that this is what an ideal woman is supposed to look like. This is how an ideal woman is supposed to act, right? So then, because we didn't ask ourselves that question, it has already been programmed. And then since we grew up, like we haven't also asked ourselves the question to even debunk that belief or figure out whether it's exactly what we want or want something else. So we are living on those programmed beliefs. Now, if there's one thing we can all agree on, is that human beings, we rarely know what we want, right? We rarely know what we want. So if we are taking what everyone else feel like this is what is ideal, this is how you're supposed to live your life. You're supposed to work for 40 years, retire, come home, take your pension, live on that. You're supposed to take care of your kids through school so that when they come out of school, they also come and take care of you. You know, some of these basic principles that we've embodied, that we are trying to work on, like we are trying to work with. But if you look back, if you sit back and then think about it and go through that subjective experience of wanting to understand what exactly is important to you, you get to realize that most of them are not actually what you want, right? There's a phenomenon I want to talk to you about, a part of the brain that is called the reticular activating system. Have any of you heard of it before? RAS, the reticular activating system. Anyone? Anyone? Has anyone heard of the reticular activating system? Anyone? No, okay. All right. So the RAS, and I'm sure after this you are going to take time and then the RAS, the reticular activating system, is a part of the brain that helps you sieve out what is important to you. Let me give an example. You see, let's say your friend or your family member buys a black, let's say a black Toyota Corolla. A black Toyota Corolla. You see, what will happen after that is when you go out that day or within that week, you will see 101 Toyota Corollas, black ones and different colors. Or a friend says, or your parents say, oh, we want to relocate or want to buy a house. Or your friend says, oh, I need to relocate. I'm looking for a house to rent. After your friend tells you this, when you go out, you start seeing house for rent, house for rent, house for rent. Has anything like that ever happened to any one of you? Has anyone been in that experience that before? Someone told you something, they wanted something, or they got something, and then from there you started noticing it's around you. Has it ever happened to anyone? Your feedback is very, very, very important. Engage. Anyone, has anyone experienced it before? Can you hear me? Anyone? Hello? Ida, have you ever experienced that before? Are you with me? Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
My connection is not strong, so you were breaking. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the feedback. So what I'm asking is, have any of you been in a position where let's say your friend wanted to get a new place, and then after your friend told you, oh, I want to get a new place, you started seeing house for rent, house for rent. Like you started seeing signs of like, people want to rent their place that you were not even noticing. Or someone told you,
Yeah.
or your family member bought a particular car. And then after that, you started seeing the car everywhere. Has it ever happened to you?
Yes. Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you wonder if maybe your sometimes I think mostly it's like ads. You start seeing ads and it feels like it's your phone listening to you or something.
Exactly.
I think it's always there, but like we don't really pay attention to it because it doesn't really matter to us. So we only begin to realize it when we need it.
Exactly.
So that's
Very much. So that whole experience that you go through is the work of what we call the reticular activity system. So you see, as human beings, we our senses, from what we hear, what we see, what we touch, everything is coming in. Like our body records almost everything. Like we get it. So when everything you are seeing is there, you are seeing it, right? And it's coming in as impulse and it's being recorded in the mind. But if your mind was giving you all those experiences, like everything you are seeing, how your clothes, like right now, you're not even thinking of how your clothes feel on your body. But the moment I mention it, you will start thinking about it. I know almost everyone is now thinking of how their clothes is what the experience of their clothes on their body, but you're not even paying attention to it. So if our brain was giving us all the experiences that we are, all the senses, the sensory inputs we are getting, we'll go mad because we don't have the capacity to process all that information at once. So what the brain does is it gives us what is important to us. Like Ida said, it gives us what we need. So the moment what we need becomes clear to us, so the brain now starts filtering through all the information that we are receiving, everything that is coming towards us. It starts filtering it and it starts showing us what will get us to what we need. Does that make sense to you? Is this clear? Did you get it? Did everyone get it? If you got it, type yes. I want to make sure everyone understood what I just said. Because this is a very, very, very important principle that if you understand, you can now start using it. Everything we are going to do today doesn't matter if you don't understand the core principle. That your brain has the capacity, it has the ability, it has the power to give you everything you want. But the most important thing is that you have to churn out. You have to, zone in on what is important to you. You have to get clarity on what it is. And then when you finally do that, then you can now start seeing those things that will get you there. Right. And this is called what does this in your brain is what we call the reticular activation system. Right. So now my question is, if this power is already there, all right, it's already in us. We have this power. We've actually been using it. All right. Just like now, I mentioned, do you know, have you thought about how your clothes feel on your body? And then immediately you started to, if we already have this power, why haven't we been using it? Why? Can anyone tell me why? Like we already have this power to create anything we want, to live the life we want. Why haven't we, figured it out or like gotten to that point where we are living the life we want? Can anyone tell me why? Felicia, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Felicia, I was asking, do you have any idea why we have this power to do anything we want or get anything we want? Why do you think we haven't been using it?
So I personally feel like most of us have not come to the realization of that power. So it's something we don't know we have, right? And the few of us who know to find ourselves in a boxed up situation of societal expectation, societal construct, and how we feel people perceive, like expect us to be like. You get it? That is why we don't hone into experiencing or making use of the power we have to make certain decisions, bold decisions. That's my personal take.
And that's very correct. Clap for yourself. You've done well. Basically, that's it. So there are. I don't know if any of you have ever gone through or learned about competence in its levels. Right. There are 4 levels of competence. Right. Competence being able to do something and do it well. Right. Gaining the ability to do something or to practice something and do it. That's competence. Right. There are 4 levels of competence. The first level of competence is unconscious incompetence. Right. you don't know how to do something and you don't know that you don't know how to do it, right? The next level is called conscious incompetence. You don't know how to do something, but you're aware you don't know how to do it, right? The next level is called conscious. So from unconscious incompetence, you go to conscious competence, and then you go to conscious competence, where you know how to do it, but you have to be conscious to do it. And then the final level, which is what most people call mastery, is unconscious competence. Let me give the best example to explain that before I come back. Um, Shoes, tying your shoes. Your parents tie your shoe for you every single day, and one day they tell you tie your own shoe. So every time they were doing it for you, you were not even aware that you don't know how to tie your shoe. The first day they told you, go and tie your own shoe, then you sit down and then you try and do it and you realize that you didn't know how to tie your shoe. So now, when they were tying for you, you were unconsciously incompetent. You were incompetent, but you didn't know. When they told you to go and tie it yourself, and then you now became aware of the fact that you don't know how to tie your shoe, then you became what? Consciously incompetent. And then now they start you there. It's like this one goes here, you pass it through here, you tie it here, and you tie it like this. So they did that for you, taught you how to do it for a couple of times. So now they took you through that conscious process of what making you competent. And then they told you to try it, and then you tried it, and then you got it right. They clapped for you. And then the next day they told you to do it yourself. They are monitoring. You did it. They supervised. You were able to do it. So you did that for some time. Now you've gotten to the point where you can close your eyes and tie your shoe. I know everyone here can close their eye and tie because you've done it so many times. You've iterated, you've done different styles. So now you are unconsciously competent. You can do it without even thinking about it. So it's the same thing with what we are talking about. That is, we understanding the power we have. That is creating the life we want for ourselves or creating our vision. Most of us are unconsciously incompetent when it comes to creating the life we want for ourselves. We are not even aware that we have that power to do that, right? And I'm saying most of us because I was there. I was in that process. I was in that stage where I didn't know. Like, I was just accepting life. Anything that came, I took it, right? Yeah, I was being ruled by life. I was being led by life. What someone told me was important was also important. If my friends told me, oh, if you're looking for a woman, look for one who has this type of body, look for one who has to do this for you. I just accepted it. I didn't even distill it. I was like, okay. If my parents told me, if you want to be rich, go to school, learn hard, get a good grades, work for 40 years, you'll be rich, I just distilled it. I didn't ask questions. I didn't probe to understand why I need to do that. You understand? Because I was unconsciously incompetent. And then I got to realize that, oh, I can create my life for myself if I understand. So now I became conscious that I didn't even know how to build a dream board. I didn't know what I like. I didn't know what is important to me, what I expect out of life. So then I had to go through the whole process of now consciously trying to understand myself, trying to understand what is important to me. And then now from there, you now start creating your life. So this is not something that we do now, and then you go back home and then boom, you are enlightened, and then you're going to build your own future and everything is great. No. What I'm trying to say is that it's a process, right? Now you are learning something. The next part is going to be you asking the questions and then figuring it out. When you ask the questions, what is important to me? What do I want for my life? How does my dream life look like? Who am I? Who do I have in that life? What am I doing with those people? What exactly am I doing? Where am I working? Who am I working with? Am I having fun? Am I just going to work and coming back home? What time am I coming back home? Who am I coming home to? You understand? Like having a certain level of clarity when it comes to these things will now help you just now start looking out for these things. Just like your brain now shows you those things that you thought about, your brain will now start showing you how to create this. So opportunities will come. You'll be able to see it through whether these things are important to you or not. Does this make sense to you? If this makes sense to you, type Y or yes, so that we continue. If this makes sense to you, just type Y, and then we'll continue from here. If anything I've said now makes sense to you, you can type Y, then we'll continue from here. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. So now let's get into our presentation. There's this quote that I love so much from Einstein. It says, imagination is everything. It's life's preview. It is the preview of life's coming attractions, right? Painting a vision for yourself is you setting that picture and then getting to that picture. Now, let's look at what a vision board is or what a dream board is, right? A dream board, like I said earlier, it's a preview of what you want your life to be like. It's your map, right? It's the map that you are building. Is there a picture It's a future picture that you are painting for yourself to help your mind guide you there, right? That's what a vision board is. But the most important thing, or the most important question is, what do you want, right? What do you want? What do you want for your life? What do you want to achieve? You know, what is important to you? What does a dream lifestyle look like for you? What does, you want to be rich? What does rich look like for you? Is rich 2 million? Is rich 1 million? Is rich having loving family? Is rich, what does it mean to you, right? What are your desires? What are the things that you are, naturally attracted to, naturally drawn to? What are these things? Getting an understanding of these things is the beginning. It helps you now start tailing it. It doesn't end with what, because there are a lot of things. I'm sure beginning of the year, almost everyone said, "Oh, this year I'm going to do that. This year I'm going to do that." New Year goals, New Year resolution. I'm hitting the gym. I'm reading more books. I'm reading. We all said that. We all said the what. Felicia is laughing. You know, everyone said it in January, but now nobody's. I'm sure everyone has lost it. Nobody's looking at it, right? Because
we are still in the spirit. We are in February, please.
Yeah.
Don't give up on us.
Awesome. Now, but I think the special group here is even better than everyone else, because most people either they didn't set it or they set it and they left it. But you are here, you're a special group, so I know you are still, it's important that you are going by it. But the main reason why most people, see these things but don't really go after it is the why, right? From the what you go to the why. Why is it important to me? Let me give an example. You see, right now, if I asked you to jump from a one-story building, you would tell me I'm mad. Like, just jump. Even if I told you I'll give you 50 cities, you tell me I'm mad. If I told you I'll give you 100 cities, you tell me I'm mad. If I told you to jump from a 3-story building and I'll give you 1 million, you still probably tell me I'm mad, because you feel like you might die. But if your daughter, right? If your daughter was, your daughter was now maybe being thrown and you had to jump to catch your daughter, you wouldn't even think twice about it. You would jump, right? If a house was on fire and I told you to enter, no amount of money will probably convince you to get in. But if your baby was in the room, you won't even think, like you won't even contemplate or think what you're going to. You would just jump into that fire. Why? That is the answer. It's not what. It's not the fire. The problem is not the fire. It's not the obstacle. It's the why. The why is your baby. You love your baby so much that you don't even care about the consequence, right? So most of these goals that we think we want, most of them we don't actually push through because of the why it's important to us. Because most of them, they are not actually really important to us. So or we don't even know why they are important to us. So when we start pushing and then we start facing obstacles, or we start, we start facing, the realities that we need to, the skills we need to build, the realities that will show us the skills we need to build, the capacity we need to build to earn that thing, and then earn it as something that we understand and can reproduce. When we face these obstacles, we, slow down, we get defeated, and we stop along the way, right? Because we have not figured out the why. So it's very, very important that you know the why. Anything you are putting on your vision board, anything you are envisioning for your life, anything you're envisioning for your future, don't ask yourself just what. Oh, I want a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. Why? Right? Because if the why is not important, you are not going to get it. I promise you that. But when you know the why, and it's important to you, you find out an important why, that important why is going to be your fuel. So whenever you hit a snack, you're going to, you're like, why am I even, worrying myself? And that's why that you found out and you wrote down is going to be the reminder for you to continue going, right? So it's very, very important that everything you're doing, everything you want for yourself, find out the why and make it strong. If that why is not strong, you won't go through. Most of us, I was, when I was in school, I wasn't very serious, honestly. One of the reasons why I came out of school and got fairly good grades is because I promised my mom I'll come out of school, I'll graduate. I know where I'm coming from, and I knew how much she had tried. I knew where she got the money from to get me to the school. So there was no way I'm coming back home to tell her that I couldn't complete. You understand? So even if I didn't feel like going for the lecture, but I'll go. I'm like, for Madame Sisi, let me go, right? Even if there was something I needed to do and I didn't feel like doing it, my wife, which was my mom, would now push me, give me that extra fuel, and then I'll go and do it. So the what is important, but the why is going to be your fuel. That is going to drive you to the what, right? The next thing that is also very important is clarify, right? I know right now, If I asked you, do you want money? You said yes. All right. Okay. You want money? You want more money? You told me yes, and I gave you 10 cities. Yeah, it's 10 cities. It's 10 cities free money. But is that what exactly? Is that the exact thing you want? No. If I give you 100 cities, is that exactly what you want? No. But have I given you more money? Of course, I've given you more money. But the more money I gave you wasn't what exactly you were looking for, right? Because what you had either was a figure or was a range, or you were not even clear, but you just knew that this one was small. One thing that we do when it comes to painting our vision for ourselves and our life that we don't do well is we don't gain clarity, we don't build clarity into it, right? The more clear you are, the easier it is for you to assess anything that is coming your way to know whether this gets you forward or gets you back. Let me tell you a quick story here. How many of you have ever heard of Socrates, the philosopher? Socrates. Has anyone ever heard of Socrates, the philosopher, the Greek philosopher? Anyone? If you have, just type yes, why, or give me a thumbs up. I think so either. So yes, Socrates is a Greek philosopher, amazing person. He's one of the people who really engage people to think for themselves. Right now, there was a point where Socrates was having, he had this mini lecture conversation sort of where he talked to people, he asked them questions, they asked him questions, right? And then he was doing that, and one young man he was there, and then at a point he asked Socrates, "Oh, so Socrates, how do I get to Olympus?" Now, Olympus in Greek mythology is like the seat of gods. It's where the statue of Zeus and Athena, So for like in context, basically he's asking, how do I get to my dream? How do I get to God? How do I get to my goal? Right? Then he asked him, so how do I get to Olympus? And as you like, mostly we would expect, like, take this route and then get to this country or this town, and then take the left, take the northwest. He was expecting specific, map or details. And what he told him was, make sure every step you take is towards your Olympus. Let me repeat that. He said, make sure every step you take is towards Olympus. So he's like, Socrates, how do I get to Olympus? And his answer is, make sure every step you take is towards your Olympus. Now, what this means is, life in itself, your goal, your dream, it's going to always change. Like, there's going to be so much influence. There's so many things that are changing. You're going to have family. Someone is going to come into your life. You're going to get into a new job. The job will be good for some time. A new CEO is going to come and it's going to change. You're going to be in a position where you're in a particular profession, you enjoy it so much, and then it gets to a point where you're not really enjoying it. The economy is going to change. The global economy is going to change. There's going to be always change. The only thing that is going to be constant is change, right? But the question is, are you making sure, like, do you know your Olympus, right? Do you know why your Olympus is important to you? And two, are you just making sure that your steps are towards Olympus? This is where clarification comes in. And you're talking about how much and then by when. How much and then by when. Okay? How much by when? How much and then by when? When you say I want to make a lot of money, I want to be rich. What is rich to you? Is rich $1 million a year? Is rich $5 million a year? Is rich $100,000 a month? Is rich $200,000 a month? Get clear on that, right? Because like we talked about, the clearer you are, like the reticular activating system, right? The clearer you are, the easier it is for your mind, for your RAS to start guiding you towards it, right? So how much and then by when? So what is important to you, right? Let's say you want to get married or you want to be in a relationship. When do you want to get into it? By when, right? So clarify. When you're able to, clarify and make it clearer to yourself that this is exactly what I want and this is how it looks like. It becomes easier for you to manifest. It becomes easier for you to go towards it and achieve it. Because the mind is like a stable mechanism. Missiles. What again? Yes. One stable mechanism. Iron. You know how the iron becomes hot and then immediately, it switches back and then that whole mechanism. Or how missiles are, guided missiles are, sent and then even if the target moves, it also changes courses and then so the mind is like that. If it's set to a target, even if the target is moving, it can adjust and then get it. But the most important thing is that have you set the coordinates? That's how the clarification comes in. All right. Let me quickly run through. We're almost done. So when I say clarify, these are some of the areas in your life that you can, like sit down, think about, and then get clear on these things. So career, like what is important to you when it comes to your career? What do you want to do in the next few years? All right. If you close your eyes right now, in the next 5 to 10 years, 20 years, what do you want to be known for in your field? Do you want to be, where do you want to be? What do you want to be known for? What projects have you worked on? What projects are you working on in the future, right? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in Ghana? Do you want to live outside Ghana? When you close your eyes and you envision your future, where do you see yourself living, right? Financially, what is your goal, right? And when it comes to finances, this is an advice I'll give you. So the document that has been shared, the 10-year document, is very important. The reason why it was shared was it's going to help you paint the long-term vision goal, and then you can now reverse engineer it. What I mean, you see, human beings, we have this very, very bad bias, right? Very deficient bias of overestimating what we want to happen in the short term. Like we are incapable of estimating what can happen in the short term, right? And then when it comes to long term, we are also incapable of estimating. So when it comes to long term, we underestimate what can happen. When it comes to short term, we overestimate. So everyone wants to, like, I'll lose 20 kg this year, right? If you ask them how many kg do you want to lose, or how do you want to look and feel the next 10 years, they would underestimate where they can actually get to, right? So we overestimate what will happen in 6 months, what will happen in a year, and then when we don't get there, we get disappointed. So what you want to do, what you want to do is think about what is important to you, what you want in the next 10 years, in the next decade. 10 years is a very good timeline to envision, like, oh, in my relationship, this is where I want to be. In my career, this is what I want, where I want to be in 10 years. Because within that 10-year period, you would have practiced long enough, learned so much, worked so much that you would have built mastery. So you could create anything you want. Like, it's enough time for you to be the best at whatever you are doing, right? At this point, I don't know if anyone here has read the book Mastery by Robert Greene, or the book, what's the name? I've forgotten this book. That it talks about the 10,000 hour rule, where if anything you've done for 10,000 hours, you definitely gain mastery at, right? I remember it's by Malcolm Gladwell. Outliers, yes, right. So anything you are doing for 10 years, you would have had enough understanding, if you're paying attention, to be amazing at it. If it's marriage, if it's relationship, if it's career, if it's your finances, if you work on your finances for the next 10 years, you should have enough mastery to have achieved what you want to achieve, right? If it's your family, within 10 years, if you are conscious and you're building, you should have done something amazing, what you want. So give 10 years, you're looking at 10 years, okay, what do I want for myself in the next 10 years? So you paint that 10-year vision goal, right? That decade, vision for yourself, in your career, in your where you want to live, in your finances. How much money do you have in savings? How much money do you have in investments? How much are you earning every month, right? How are you living, right? How much is your expenses? Are you living large, or you're living, on a moderate level and saving and investing your money? Are you retired? Like, who do you have as friends? Like, what network do you have? What is the situation? What is the lifestyle of your family? Your nuclear family, your extended family, recreational. Are you having fun? What does fun mean to you? Your health, like, how do you feel? How do you look, right? Your family, how do you feel? How do you look? What are the important habits that you've developed for your health in that period, right? You're looking at legacy. What have you created? Or what are you building on? What projects are you working on? Do you have an NGO? All those things, right? Toys, what do you have? What are you driving? What are you doing for fun? So to build that 10-year goal, that decade goal, now you can reverse engineer it. And then every single year, what you're going to do is you are going to take the time. Every single year, you're going to take the time, look at the 10-year goal, and then now bring it back. Okay, if I want to be the head of my department, or if I want to be own my own company that is doing, let's say, $20 million turnover or revenue, then I need to start from here. Maybe the company is a tech company, then I need to start learning this in tech. So this year, if I'm able to master the skill, I can now build on that. So you can reverse engineer it, like to a 5-year goal. Or in the next 5 years, I want to be here because this is where I want to be in the next 10 years. In the next 2 years, I want to be here. And then importantly, you can now reverse that into your yearly goal. So each year, you don't have to go back to thinking what you want for yourself, and then basing that on, the reference of what you couldn't achieve, right? Most of the time, we sit down and then we look at our lives each year, and then we look at the things we couldn't do, the things that we want to do we can't do, or we even started but we couldn't do. That reference point, and use that to plan the new year. So mostly we are not even able to move forward. But think about it: if you had a big vision, a long vision that is already painted and built in your mind, and then each year you are looking at that goal, that your Olympus, and you're asking yourself, okay, how far am I from my Olympus? Which step do I need to take so that I'm still aligned and on path? Then you can build your vision goal. So what we are going to do today, we are going to do yearly, like for your year, what do you want for yourself? But it's very, very important to you that you look at the documents that has been posted in the comment section. It's also been posted on your page, right? It can help you paint that vision for yourself, that 10-year vision for yourself. When you're able to do that, building your year and achieve, not just creating your vision board or planning your year or having like planning your life, you would actually plan it, develop the systems, and then go and achieve it, right? Who would love that? Who would love to not just, create a vision, but create a vision and be able to develop a plan and always achieve their goal? Who would love to do that? If you would love to do that, if you love to be that person, let me see your hand or type yes. If you love to be that person who builds their vision and always achieve their goals, awesome. Agatha, awesome. So I believe some of these things that you're learning will help you. So start with the 10-year goal and then reverse engineer it from the back. Now, another important part of you not just envisioning, but envisioning and then achieving your dreams or your vision for your life is how you feel about it. You see, and this brings me back to the programming I talked about. You see, most of us have been programmed with so many inefficiencies that it makes our internal, compass, our internal understanding, what we understand, what we believe, and the dreams we are looking for in the vision out of alignment. Like, for example, I know everyone on this call says, oh, I want to make money, I want to be rich, right? We also want to be rich. Now, let me ask this question. Right now, is there a particular amount of money that if I gave it to you right now to keep it in your room, you can't sleep? Or it doesn't matter the amount. If I give you money, like it doesn't matter the amount, you can actually have the money in your room and you sleep comfortably. Is there anyone like that on this call? I'm sure everyone on this call, there's a particular amount of money. If I give it to you right now and you're supposed to keep it in your room, maybe I'll come for it in 2 days' time or the next day, you won't be able to sleep. Like you would wonder why, right? I'm sure there's a particular amount of money that if it's given to you, oh, take this money. You will wonder why the money was given to you. You won't be like your soul, your internal compass won't be able to accept the money, right? Because even though you've not ever thought about it, there's been an internal compass when it comes to your finances that has been built. There's been a programming when it comes to your finances that has been built, right? We say we want to be rich, we want to make a lot of money, but we go, Hakim says 10 billion US. Hakim, 10 billion is not enough to even go into your room. Your room is too small for $10 billion, right? But I hope you get to my point. We all have an internal like money threshold, right? And we don't even know it's there, but we've been programmed to accept all these statements we heard when we were growing up, like you think money grows on trees, money is the root of all evil. It's harder for the rich man to enter heaven than a camel to enter the eye of a needle. Such graphical image, like, and you're constantly told these things, right? You're constantly told these things by people, our parents, amazing people, our friends, our teachers, our leaders, who were also coming from a point of lack, who were also coming from a point where they were working. They didn't know better, right? But we all know money is a result, right? Money is a result. One of my mentors, he says something. He says, any resource that you can't reproduce, you borrowed it, right? Money is the result that if you build your internal compass, if you have a certain level of capacity, if you have a certain level of skill, you can always reproduce it. So all these things, like how we feel about money, you can put on your vision board that you want to make $10 billion in the next year. But if internally, right, your programming when it comes to money, when your programming when it comes to prosperity, your programming when it comes to abundance, if that is not right, forget about what you have painted on your vision. Because there's going to be an internal fight between what you think you want and what you actually want. Because internally, you have been programmed to not want abundance, to want to be on the rat race, but you feel like you have the desire to earn money. So how you feel about these things you're putting down is very important. Let me give you a typical example. So a few years ago, I went through a very bad breakup. It was crazy. And afterwards, I told myself, for now, I'm just going to concentrate on myself, like what everyone says when they chop breakfast. So I told myself, oh, from now, I'm just going to concentrate on myself, build my career. So yeah, started concentrating on myself, went to do my MBA, started doing a few courses, got my certificate. So I was just concentrating on myself. So last year, one of my trainings with one of my life coaching partners, students, clients, and we were talking about 10-year goals, building her vision for herself, and we were talking about partner, what do you want in a partner, all those things, and then she was having a hard time, so I kind of guided her through. But when I finished with the training, I came to sit down, and then I was looking at my 10-year goals, and I had everything written down in terms of the different facets of my life. But when it comes to the relationship, I had still not been clear on what exactly I wanted, and this was coming from the point of pain, right? Because of what I'd gone through, and then because I was telling myself, oh, I need to get better, be to myself in a better position before, right? So right there, I told myself, no, I'm not going to give myself any excuse again. So I sat down and then asked myself, so if I'm the next 10 years, if I'm in a relationship, how is that going to look like, right? Who is the woman? How does she look like? What is important to her? What is important to me? How are we living? So I started writing those things down, right? I wasn't very excited about it. I was a little excited, but I wasn't very excited because I was still rationally thinking about the pain I'd gone through. So I just went through, just wrote a few things down, a few things that I feel like are important for me in a relationship. The crazy part, after writing it down, I never thought about it again. Like, never. I was just there. When I did my yearly goals and my short-term goals, I didn't really add, put yourself out there. Like, I didn't add anything short-term when it comes to that long-term goal. But crazily, within the year, the things I wrote down, I met someone who embodied every single principle in there, and I wasn't even looking, right? That's how important it is to get past pain, get past lack, and then, put yourself out there and change how you feel about the things you want to see in your life. And I hope this you get what I'm talking about. How you feel about something is as important as, you even figuring out that you want it. So the things that there's going to be a lot of parts of your life that there's a pain there, there's an inefficiency there, like there's a lack of understanding there. You need to figure this out. When you're writing a goal and it feels like you don't deserve it, that means there's an inefficiency there. You have to start addressing these things. Asking yourself, why do I think that I don't deserve it? Like, oh, the next 10 years I want to be the president of Ghana, and then like something, that devil on your shoulder, like, who do you think you are? Like you have to start. Like, then you have to now question, why? Who do I think I can't be the president? Why can't I be? So doing this inquiry will help you understand what is causing that, and then you can now start programming yourself to feel like someone who deserves to make it. Because, like I said, any results you can't recreate, you borrowed it. So if even if it just fell on your lap, and you don't build your internal compass to be that person who understands, who knows, who believes that they deserve it, you will find a way and then just get that results out. Just like how sometimes there's a particular amount of money. If you're not earning that money, you find a way to earn that money. If you're earning more, you find a way to come back. Right. So the feeling, how you feel about these goals that you are putting down, this vision that you're painting, is also very important. Get yourself to feel like you are the person who deserves it. Get yourself to feel like you are the person who God created for abundance. Right. The earth is you have dominion over earth and everything is. You can create any life you want, can be anyone you want, because the people who have done it, they have blood like you. They are not better than you in a lot of ways. All right. I hope you have. If this is clear and you understand what I just said about aligning yourself with what you want, I want you to type yes. I want you to engage so that I know you're with me. If this is clear and you understand it, type yes for me. Yes, yes, yes. If you're aligned, type yes for me. All right. I'm not seeing the yeses. Are you there? Agatha, Aida, Aisha too is now with us. Are you okay? All right. I think I'm seeing the yeses. Richarda, Natasha, awesome. That's amazing. All right. At this point, I'm going to rush through. If you have any question, okay. Hakim is asking how different is this from being delusional. First of all, yeah. Please note this question. I'll come back to it. But what I want you to also think about it is, when you say delusional, what do you mean? I would also want to understand what you mean by delusional. But let me quickly rush through this training so that we can get to how to build your vision board. And I wanted to take us through how to build a virtual vision board with Canva. It's easy. You can. I'm sure you were given a list of things that you can do. You needed to bring so that we'll do a vision board training. But looking at how the time is going, I don't think we'll be able to do that. But I'll quickly try and rush you through the Canva one. You can build your vision board on your as a picture on your phone that you can always see, right? So let's quickly talk about law of attraction. I'm sure. Okay, let me ask. Who on this call has ever heard of this phenomenon, law of attraction? Anyone? I would love to hear your view on this law of attraction. In recent time, it's been in the limelight. A lot of people talk about it. I'm sure someone has heard about this before. Law of attraction. Anyone? Anyone? So if you just unmute yourself and then talk to us. Yeah. Anyone? Agatha, yeah, you can talk.
Yeah, I've heard of the law of attraction. I read it in a book, and that was actually the title of the book. And the idea is that the more that you think or dwell on something, the universe has a way of working to make sure that you come into contact with that thing. So, for instance, if you keep on fixating on a certain idea, the world is going to work in ways to help you achieve that idea or to make that idea come to fruition. I think that's what I got from the book.
Awesome. And thank you very much. Let's clap for her. But what do you think? Have you seen it working in your life? Do you believe in it? Do you think it's something that is there, or you think it's one of those, things that people just say?
I had mixed feelings about this law of attraction because just as it has positive sides, it has negative sides as well. Because then I found myself thinking, okay, so what if I have this persistent fear to probably excuse me for using this example, but probably I have this fear of being sexually harassed. I was just thinking that would the universe work in such a way to make sure that I get sexually harassed. So I because of those mixed feelings about this law of attraction, I didn't really want to dwell so much upon it in case I end up fixating on the wrong thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And that was the second part is very profound. You see, my first exposure, I grew up in a Christian home. Like I told you earlier, my father was a pastor, my mom is a teacher who's a sophomore, like very Christian home. My first time coming into contact with this, I was like it didn't feel right. It didn't just sit with me right. Like, what is this? All right. So, but I didn't just take it on face value. I was like, let me try and then read more about this, try and understand it. Even starting from what my frame of understanding is, which is my belief system and my frame of understanding when it comes to understanding things is very much influenced by my background, my religious background, and then my cultural background. So let me start from there, right? What does the Bible say about law of attraction? And I promise you, if you go in there, you see it. The Bible says, whatever the mind conceive and believe, the mind actually, it's going to happen, right? So whether it's positive or it didn't say whatever you conceive and believe that is positive, you're going to get it. It said what? Whatever you conceive, whatever the mind conceives and believes, it will manifest. Do you understand? So there's this phenomenon I usually talk about, ruled by or ruling. See, the world, when God created the world, this is my understanding. This is my understanding. When God created the world, He created laws, to govern it. He created laws to govern it in some ways so that He doesn't need to actively, be taking care of everything. Right? He created laws. The laws are kind of sort of the manifestations of His power to keep things going. Just like when you create a computer, you program it. That's your power. You program it. You give it a certain set of instructions. That anybody or any task that falls within that instruction would follow that path and get to an answer. So it doesn't matter what is like if you program a computer and you put in laws that 1 + 1 is equal to 2 or 2 + 2. You put in these arithmetic instructions in there. It doesn't matter whether the person types 10 or -10, right? The question is, does it follow the rule? If it's -10 minus -10, it's going to give you -20. If it's -10 plus 10, it gives you 0. You get my point? So it's the same thing with the law of attraction. The law of attraction it's just our way. It's just people's way of finding a way to describe how the mind aligns you with what you want. Like the mind gets you what you want, or the mind gets you what you are concentrated on, what you are thinking, what you are believing. Whether it's fear or whether it's not fear, whether it's desire, like a positive desire or a negative desire or fear. So far as you are concentrated on it, you are giving it energy. Now, what happens is that when you're giving it energy, in the sense of like you're giving it time, you're giving it attention, you're concentrating on it. Your body, like your whole everything you're looking at, those things will now start coming. Like you start seeing it. Just like the reticular activating system works for you in good, it works for you in bad. Like if you think, you're a bad person, you will see that every like situations come up. Instead of you looking at things from another perspective, you look at things from the perspective like, oh, but I'm a bad person, right? Let me find another good example. Okay, so let's say right now you are in a relationship and you think your partner is cheating. I'm not saying he's cheating or he's not cheating. Like, let's just take it flat. You think your partner is cheating. Now, you see that everything that happens moving forward is going to be processed through the mind and then the understanding, whether it has formed fear or it's formed, disgust. You're going to process it through those emotions and those perspectives. Like, if he says something, you're going to process through the suspicion of cheating, right? If he says, oh, like my phone was off, you think I'm a kid, right? If you had no doubt that he was like cheating, if you felt like, oh no, I'm confident I'm confident about this guy. When he says his phone is off, like you process it from that open understanding mindset. Your phone is off, or what happened to your phone? You didn't charge it. Like you ask questions from that perspective instead of the other perspective. So law of attraction, it's basically everything you want is out there in the world. The good, the bad, the evil. Like everything you want is out there, right? There are good people, there are bad people. If you think only bad people come your way, but the only bad people, that's like internally, before you even realize, you're going to be attracted to them. Like you realize that you will say you don't want, like, oh, I'm attracted to you, but before you realize the person you are with is a bad person. If you say, oh, the jobs I get, they don't pay well. If you say Ghana is too hard, sometimes it's even on a certain mundane level, like, oh, Ghana is too hard. Nobody makes it in Ghana. Like who can be Ghanaians we can't manage our affairs. All those little things that you hear from the internet, you hear from people. Like if you pay attention, like from today going, you pay attention to what people are saying, especially on the media, you will see that most people are actually talking up from their bad experiences, their pain, their suffering, right? And they think because that's how they see their world, they think that's how everyone should see the world, right? If you tell someone now, I'm going to build the next Facebook, do you think people are going to come to you with warm embrace? No, because people don't see themselves building the next Facebook. Am I making sense? Most people don't see themselves building the next Facebook. If you have had that desire, like if you have had that dream, then it's your dream. Like it's on a subjective level, your dream. Now, expecting, like people are not going to say, oh, you are good. Like, no, they will tell you it's not possible. Even if they don't say it, they will do things, they will laugh at you, they will do things that they will ridicule you. You know that. So everything you want is out there in the universe. Just like someone thought, I can build a Facebook and build Facebook. If you think you can build the next Facebook, you believe it enough, and you start pursuing it. You can, you see law of attraction. Sometimes there are a lot of people who have also understood this. They think like, oh, if I sit down and say, I want 10 billion, I want 10 billion, I want 10 billion, I want 10 billion, they will wake up and 10 billion will be in their room. There's no law of attraction without action. There's no attraction without, if you don't act, there's no attraction. Because the whole point of the attraction is that you have to be in alignment with what you want, right? And for example, if I'm telling myself I want to be in a relationship that is loving, respectful, supportive, all those things, and I am not loving, I don't even understand love. Like my concept of love is skewed towards pain. Do you think I'm going to attract someone who understands love? And even if I find someone who understands love and can show me love, do you think I'll be able to understand the love? Do you get it? So you have to be to attract. You have to be. There's a reason why we are called human beings, right? Because we are the only, creatures who can consciously and consistently produce and act in a particular way. We can conceive and act in a particular way. Animals don't do that. They are just there, right? They have a certain set of pre-programmed instructions and they follow. If they want to eat, they go and find food. If they are thirsty, they go and find food. As humans, you understand? So We can be hungry and decide that, no, I'm going to starve myself. Right? Do you understand? So attraction is not just thinking it. Attraction is thinking it and then being that person, programming yourself, your mindset, your feelings, the actions you take to be that person. You know how they say, you create your own luck or you are lucky. Like if you don't stand in the place where luck is coming, you don't get luck. You don't sit in your room and then someone come and knock and then give you money. Like if you get my point, so you have to put yourself in the positions where the opportunities get to you. You have to be that person when the opportunity comes. You can prove yourself for people to see that this is the person who deserves this chance, right? So this is my understanding of law of attraction, and it's an amazing phenomenon. This is the thing. It's like gravity, right? Just like gravity is a law, and it's in whether you believe in gravity or not. If you stand on a mountain or if you stand on a building and jump, you fall down and die, right? It doesn't matter. It's not about whether you believe it or not. It's in existence, right? It's operational. The question is whether you are being ruled by it or you are ruling it. You can use it or you can allow it to use you, where you are just, there. It comes and it gets to you. I hope this makes sense. If this makes sense, you understand this, type yes. I want to see you participate. I want to see that you're here. If you don't understand it and you have a question, I want you to type it too. All right, before we move on into the final part. Does this make sense? Do you understand this? If you have any question, you can put it down there. All right, awesome. Helen, thank you very much. Thank you, Rachida. All right, so now let's go to the final part. Allow. You have to allow yourself. It's in congruence with the feeling part. You have to allow yourself. You have to allow yourself to accept it. You have to, like you can't want something and be fighting it. Allow yourself to come. Allow it to come. Allow yourself to feel. Right. Absence of doubts. Of course, in the beginning, you're going to have these, feel like you don't deserve it, all those things, but you have to work on it and then get to the point where you believe it will happen. I don't know. I'm sure everyone in his life or her life has gotten to the point where you believe something will happen. You believed it. Even there were things around you that were not pointing to it working out, but you believe that it will happen. And then it actually happened. And this is what we are talking about. We want you to not just have it as one of those coincidental, events, but something that you can create and recreate in your life. All right. Yeah, let's go. All right. So designing your dream board. All right, we are coming to designing your dream board. First of all, like I talked about, there are important concepts you need to understand. This is not just Emilia. Afemika has been in my trainings multiple times, and she will tell you this. For me, an event like this, it's not just about you come here, pick a picture, paste it here. No. It's about you understanding what it means, understanding why you need to do it, and then how to do it. So now we've gone through the other important part, which is understanding what it means, why you need to do it, and then we are going to how you do it. So first of all, you're looking at pictures that represent the feelings, the experiences, the possessions that you want to attract into your life, that you want in your life. You understand? The pictures that represent it, whether it's your own pictures that you took with your phone. So now as you move around, anything you see that you're like, this thing I want to manifest in my life, I want to see this in my life, take a picture of it, right? You can go on Google, search for some of these things. You can anything. And the reason why pictures, it's amazing because, it's easier to connect with the picture. Like when you close your eyes and you are imagining and envisioning, you envision in pictures, right? You envision emotion, you envision in, it's a whole creative process. It's not just something you are written down. So that way your mind is able to now paint a picture more. Like you can envision yourself in a particular car. You get it? When it's a picture, it's not just writing. So find pictures that speak to you, that represent your experiences, your feelings, and then your possessions, right? Other things that you can do on your vision board is post affirmations. Affirmations are very, very, very important because you see how we talk to ourselves. When we are talking to ourselves, we talk in affirmations or we talk in words, right? We talk to ourselves like you say, I'm not good enough. Oh, this won't work out. This will work out, So now affirmations is you putting those words, putting a word to take over the negative word, right? If you say something long enough, you start to believe it, right? If you are told you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, your parents are telling you, your friends are telling you, you will start to believe it. If you are told you are good enough, you are good enough, you are good enough, you are brilliant, you are beautiful, you will start to believe it. There are people who are very beautiful, but they've been told they are not beautiful, and they got to the point where they believe it. So even though they are beautiful, they don't believe they are beautiful. This is why affirmations are important. there's a lot of bad programming that we've all had. And I'm like everyone on this call, we've had so much, negative programming from people who didn't, it's not like they hated us or they didn't love us, but they didn't know better, right? It's there. Sometimes you don't even know it's there. You're unconsciously incompetent. So you're put in a position where you have to express yourself. And then you realize that no, like I have this sick, devil on my shoulder telling me that I'm going to fail on that stage. Right. So affirmations are very important. Put those encouraging words, the words that's my affirmation that it's been our mantra for the past 8 years is live full, die empty, live full, die empty. So everywhere on my laptop, on my phone, in my room, pasted on stickies, live full, die empty. On my WhatsApp, you see it, live full, die empty. What it means is that like everyone is going to die, everyone is going to leave. The question is not, Methuselah lived 969 years. He's just the only reason he's remembered is because of his age, 969 years. Jesus Christ lived for 30 something years. Muhammad shots, but look at the influence they have, right? So it's not really about when you died. It's about what you did, like how you lived. That's what is important. So live full, die empty. And every vision board I've created, I put it there. Live full, die empty. Right. So it's something that reminds me of why I'm here and what I'm doing. All right. So inspirational quotes, sometimes you can add your scriptures in there to, paint that picture for you better. All right. Let's continue. Include pictures of yourself or your family or loved ones, because that is something that you already, you have an affection for, you have an affinity to. So when you add that, so if you're talking about, having a loving family with your partner, put a beautiful picture of yourself with your partner whilst you're both smiling, all those things. Like it personalizes it, right? Keep it neat, keep it nice. And then the most important part of it is have fun doing it. Don't be too serious about it. Yeah. Just have fun with it. There are a lot of things you put on your dream board now that's along the line you might think, no, I actually don't want this. I want to change it. And it's absolutely normal because one of my mentors, he's called Naval Ravikant. I don't know if anyone knows him. Naval Ravikant is a philosopher and an angel investor and also very big in the tech space. He says something. He says, nobody's an adult. Nobody's an adult. Everyone is figuring it out. You understand? Even the people we think have figured it out, they are all figuring it out. All right. Okay, put your crush on your dream board. Yes, it's possible. It's possible. Yeah. And allow it. When I say allow means that, you see, just like you want things to happen for you, you have to understand that you don't just want things that you want to happen for you. You want things that you want that are going to be good for you to happen to you. Does that make sense? Let me repeat that. When I say allow, I mean put it there, want it, believe that you deserve it, but also believe that it is something that is good for you. Right? Because some things are not good for you, you think are good for you. If you are aligning yourself with good, if you are putting yourself to be good, when you see that, because that is not good for you, the moment you get there, you see that there's misalignment. Like, for example, let me use this same crash example. You've seen your crash, you are so lucky, there's my crash, you put it there. Like, and then you are being the amazing person, loving, caring, understanding. You have been that person, right? And then you see that some way, somehow, that you get into a meeting or you get into an interaction with your crush, and they talk, and from the way they talk or how they understand the world and where they are, pushing the reference they are putting their points from, you realize that like that's not a person. That's what I'm saying. So be stuck, believe in the goal. I believe that if it's good for you, you are going to get it, and you believe it's good for you, you get it. So yeah, have fun doing it. Be creative. Yeah. Now, let me quickly show you. Yeah. Okay. So next steps when it comes to when you're able to finally create your vision board or your dream board, what you're going to do is it's not just about creating it and going to sleep, right? It's not about creating it and then just putting it in your cupboard and just forgetting about it. No, you need, like we talked about, it has to be it has to be constant. It has to be what is on your mind, right? So you place it somewhere you can see it regularly, right? If you follow what we talked about, the 10-year goal, and then breaking it down to yearly goals, what you can do is when you build the 10-year vision, it can be in your room, maybe your big room, put it there, maybe somewhere else too, in your room, right? And then when you break it down to daily goals, if you have yearly goals, your yearly goals should be on your phone. Like it should be something that you wake up in the morning and you go through it. You envision yourself, you see yourself achieving those goals, right? Because you want your daily activities in the day to be steps towards your Olympus. You don't want to be doing something that won't lead you to your Olympus. And the only way you do that is to go back and then look at your Olympus again. Like you wake up in the morning, okay, this is my Olympus. And then now, what do I need to do today to get me to my Olympus? So your actions within the day, within the week, within the month will be informed by where you want to get to. So it's not something you do and then you go to sleep. Whether it's the long term or the short term, like it's something that you do and then you review almost every time. Like this is my long term goals. It's on your phone. It's part of your morning rituals. When you wake up, the things you do, you look at your goals, right? You look at your weekly goals, your yearly goals. You look at them so that it's there. Does this make sense? Now, the next part, which is visualizing it, the most important parts, like when it comes to visualizing or seeing yourself or getting your subconscious to work for you, because your subconscious is 80% of what you do. 80% of what you do is influenced. No, all you do is influenced by 80% of what you don't see. That is your subconscious. There are things you are seeing, there are things you are doing, they're bad and good, that you think you are rationalizing it, but it's actually influenced by your subconscious. So before you go to bed, when you go to bed, you are fully on autopilot. Your subconscious is working, right? That's why some people, when they go to bed, they still listen to things, because even though the mind is asleep, the eyes, the conscious is asleep, the subconscious is not asleep, and it's actually picking up, right? So before you go to bed, you can visualize your goals, see yourself achieving those goals. Read your goals, right? See yourself living those dreams. And then early in the morning when you wake up, you can do the same thing again, which will now help you guide you through your day, so that you start noticing the things that will get you closer to your goal. I hope this makes sense. And then work on the belief system, work on believing it, internalize those goals. And then importantly, keep it long term, right? Let me quickly rush through. So this is me. This is the first time I built my dream board. I was 23 years old. I went for a seminar like this. It was physical, and I was taking through the same training process where we talked about goals. And then if you look at the picture, well, you see 17th March. Yeah, it was 17th March at Royal Senchi. It was an amazing time. So that was the first time I built my dream board. And I promise you, most of the things I wrote there, I've achieved it. It's amazing. And one of the things I wrote there was to never give up. You see, there's a Sarkodie picture close to your passport, and I wrote on the passport, tattoo my passport. I wrote never give up. Like I pasted a picture of Sarkodie as a representation of someone who has gone through it and then believed in himself, believed in his craft, worked on his craft, and he has achieved it. So to never give up. I posted someone who is in a casual jacket with a sneaker, and then that's the kind of person I want to be. I don't want to be the corporate stuck up person. I want to be the fun, the person who wears a t-shirt to the office, who wears the sneakers to the office, into trainings. That's me. That's what I love to do. I don't want to be the person in a suit on this train. I want to be the person who is in a Man U jersey. Yeah. So the cars, if you see, so I wrote Lamborghini, I wrote Range Rover, I wrote G-Wagon. Actually, what happened was when I wrote this, within 2 years, I bought my first car, which was a Range Rover Evoque, and it was a red car, like you see there, right? I put a picture of two doctors smiling, and I wrote, help people, right? And then I added, there's a picture of someone who was scuba diving. I added, have fun, enjoy life, be an adrenaline junkie. Now, what happened was that when I put that, like, be an adrenaline junkie, a year later, I got a chance to skydive out of a moving plane. Like, skydiving was an amazing experience. If you are here and if ever wanted to do something crazy, something amazing like that, I promise you it's worth it. Go and do it. So the experience, it showed me that, mostly we have all these fears, but it's all here. Like, and this is how I got to understand that, with skydiving, what happens is that you sit in a plane, and this plane is a very small plane. It has no doors, right? So it's an open plane. It's very small, and then you fly into the sky with an open plane. Like if you have even stood on a tall story building, like the balcony of a tall story building, you see how you start being afraid. You're afraid of the heights, right? When I think about it, this is an airplane that is moving in the air about 14,000 feet above sea level, and there's no door. Right, and you're a Ghanaian. You don't know how to swim too. So this is moving at Diani Beach in Kenya, and then you at a point when you get to where you're supposed to come out of the plane, you're not coming out, you are jumping out. So they tell you to sit at the edge of the plane, right? So you sit at the edge of the plane with your legs dangling. because you don't jump out of the plane, you fall from the plane. So now think about it. You're Ghanaian, you really don't know how to swim, and you're afraid of heights, and you're in the sky, 11,000 feet above sea level, and your feet are dangling at the edge of the aeroplane. Then finally they tell you they count three, and then they like you will fall. So they count 1, 2. Usually when they count to three, people hold the door and not come out. So at 2, they will push you out of the plane, and then you fall for like 2 minutes, just falling, no parachute. Like they call it free fall, you know. So before, when my feet were dangling at the edge of the plane, like I promise you, I've never felt fear like that. I felt like I was going to die. Like I was going to die twice because 1, I'm going to fall from that height, and 2, I'm falling in the sea. I don't know how to swim, so that means I'm dying, and then I'll die again, right? But my heart was literally pounded out of my chest. Then finally we started falling. They pulled the parachute, and then I started calming down. Then eventually I got when my feet touched the ground, I felt unstoppable. I felt like all that fear I felt like I was going to die, but it was all here, right? So it was an amazing experience. If you have these, you can put all those things down as things you want to do. So yeah, I want to show you that this is not some cliche or some conjured thing. Like you see how the guy is looking at me, excited about the dream, like what I was like. I felt like this is something I'm going to do. And down there I wrote, if you see where the guy in the Chelsea shirt is, down there I've written PD leader. I wanted to become a personal development leader, and it's amazingly happened, right? I wanted to be in a loving relationship. So what I'm trying to say is that these things actually work if you do it. It's a law. Like it's there. Whether you believe it or not, it works. So believing it, understanding it, and using it is how you also get to rule your life rather than letting life rule you. Right. Okay. These are some other things. So one thing I wrote there is I wanted to go to Machu Picchu. So even with the Machu Picchu, it was an incentive trip with my company. So I put it on my dream board, traveled the world. I wrote the Machu Picchu when they announced it, and then I got a picture of Machu Picchu. So Machu Picchu is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So I put the Machu Picchu, wrote it there. I wanted to go, and then eventually I achieved it. Margaret is asking, how long was the vision board expected to last? So this one was, at this point, I didn't decide how long it should last. I just put it there, everything I wanted. This is my first ever dream board, so it was the first everything I wanted. So you see that my vision board, of course, I have a few physical things I wanted there, but most of them were actually feelings, right, or attitudes I wanted to embody, like be the fun guy. If you don't achieve success, but be the fun guy. I don't want to be stuck up. I want to be the fun guy. I also achieve success. I wanted to make people happy. I wanted to make people smile. I wanted to provide value to people. So all these things are where, the physical things, achieve some of them. So you decide, right? The clearer, the better. But you decide how long you're doing your vision board for. So you can do a year vision board. You can do a 10-year vision board. You can do a 5-year vision board. It's all you. Like you are in charge. You're in control. I hope that makes sense. All right. So that's another thing. Another level of law of attraction that I also practice in my life. So I was told, okay, so let me see how I can push this. So I wrote a check for myself, right? I wrote a check for myself and dated it. That's on this day, like I want to achieve this particular income, right? And I wrote 16,000 Ghana cedis. That's as an income I wanted to achieve. And what you see on the right is an alert, like I had. So I was with Max International. I was one of the top leaders. Now I achieved exactly the amount I wrote, 16,000 Ghana cedis. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is this thing works. One of the trips that I got to go, Swahili Beach Resort in Kenya, what happened was when I got a picture of the place, I was supposed to qualify by doing a certain number of sales, right? I got a picture of the place. It's a beautiful hotel, Swahili Beach Resort. And then I put it on my wall. And then I used the red marker to make an arrow on a particular part that I want to stay, like a particular part of the hostel. Like it's like, this is my room. And I kid you not, right? Eventually qualified. When I qualified and I got there, that was exactly like the same building. That's where my room was, right? So this thing works. Like the more, if you learn to use it, I'm not saying it's clear cuts, on a basic level, you just put it there and you get it. Like there are a couple of other components, like you aligning yourself, you believing, you accepting, you allow all those things, you doing it regularly, putting yourself in activity. Like if you're able to get those small, seemingly inconsequential parts right, you will start getting the goals happening to you. And you people will look at you with marvel, but you know what you are doing, right? Okay, let me quickly run through final part. You've seen any amazing player, right? They will all tell you at a point in their life they had one player they idolized, and then everything they did was around that person. They talked like the person, they walked like the person, they scored free kicks, they kicked their free kicks like the person, they celebrated like the person. This is Mbappe, and this is Mbappe's room when he was growing up. Right? Everything. So his environment, he assimilated, he believed, he lived, he manifested. Like this is who he wanted to be. I'm not saying every player who has seen Ronaldo's picture in their room is going to be there. Right? That's what I'm saying. There are other facets, there are other small parts that you need to figure out. You need to accept, you need to work on yourself, you need to train, you need to do all those other things, right? But if you do it, this will work for you. All right. Yeah, I was supposed to the last part is gratitude. Okay, gratitude. You need to be grateful for where you are, right? You need to be grateful for where you are, grateful for like everything in your life. Like one exercise that I would recommend that everyone does is when you wake up in the morning, look for at least 3 or 4 things you're grateful for, right? And then before you sleep every day, look for 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for in your life, in your profession. What this does is it starts reprogramming your mind to look for positives in everything you do, right? Gratitude, have a gratitude list. I know most of you are not going to do it. A few of you are going to start, but not continue. And a few of you to no one will probably do this and do it long term. But I promise you, anybody who does this, you will get to the point in your life where there's so much happiness in your life because you would have programmed yourself to look for what is good. And because your mind is looking for what is good, you will get what is good. You will see what is good and you will appreciate what is good. All right. We were supposed to go through an activity from what you can see here, like, so what you see here is a vision board that I built with Canva, right? Canva was built with Canva. So if it is possible to reschedule, like to plan another time, I can quickly guide you to within 15, 30 minutes, you'll be able to do it. For those of you who already have, who are able to use Canva, you can just go to Canva and then you look for a phone wallpaper. If you want to use your phone, I love using my phone because your phone, you see it every day. Like you use it every day. So just opening your phone every time and seeing your vision board, it's one of the most powerful things that can happen to you. So you can just, you find a phone wallpaper and then you add these certain features and then get it done. If we can schedule another time, I would love to take you through how to do it. If not on a personal level, anyone can. I'll add my socials. You can reach out to me. I'll guide you through how you can do it. But I think apart from you having, I know there were a list was given to you to get cardboards and everything, but in the virtual now, most of us live online. We live in the digital world. So if you can build this, if you can build a digital like dream board like this, it's easy. It works for you. You can, and then the hard copies are also needed. Like get it, that paste it to your room, see it every day, see that vision and run with it. But you will also see this on your phone and every time. So yeah, that's if we're able to, fantastic. If not, you can reach out to me on a personal level. I'll help you do it. Thank you very much. We can create our reality. Let's create our reality. At this point, I'll take questions and then I'll give my last remark and then I'll hand over back to Felicia. I see a question here. Agatha, how do you resolve any doubts that aren't on the right path to achieving your dreams, especially if you don't know who you would achieve those dreams considering? Please, Agatha, please, can you unmute yourself and ask the question? I'm struggling to understand.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't aware that there were so many mistakes in my question. I understand. The idea is, how do you resolve any doubts that you aren't on the right path to achieving your dreams? So probably you're not too sure that, assuming that your dream is you want to travel around the whole world, you're not even sure if this path that you are taking would lead you to achieve those dreams. So how do you resolve those doubts that can come up as you're trying to achieve your dreams, especially the grand ones?
Okay. All right. So if I got you right, yeah, you have grand dreams like, oh, I want to travel the world. But let's say you are in a job and you don't think like, this job how can this job get me to live that dream of traveling the world? Is it something like that? Did I get that right?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So first of all, most important part, you have the dream. I want to travel the world. Second question, why do you want to travel the world? How important is it to you? If it's why do you want to travel the world? I want to experience the world. I want to experience other culture, other perspective, and it's something that speaks to my soul. It's important to you. Okay, that's now. Now, it's important to you. You know what you want to do. What you are doing, you're looking at where you are, and you think it won't get you there. The next question is, how do you close the gap from where you are to where you want to get to? Of course, it might mean leaving a job, but the question is, what does the job give you? Do you understand? Let's say, let me give an example. So I trained as a nurse. Originally, I did my BSc in nursing. Um, I love the nursing work to a level. Like I love seeing, especially when I was in paid. I love seeing the kids get well. Like you see the miracle of life. Someone comes in super sick, they can't even breathe, and then after giving medications, taking care of them, and then after a week you see them feeling well, jumping around. It gives you this certain kind of joy. But right when I was not at the workplace, I wasn't thinking about work. And then if I was off, and nothing was pulling me to the work. I saw people who loved the work to the point where even when they close, they don't want to go home. That wasn't me. I loved how people got, like they were well, but I didn't love the work I was doing there. Right. Now, my dream was to be rich. I saw how much nurses were making. I saw how much doctors were making. I saw how much the highest level I can get to in nursing in Ghana, the money I'll make, and I knew it wasn't going to make me rich. So I needed to figure out a way. Right. There's something we call time system income. Time system income. So we all put our time into systems and then it generates income for us. There are some systems that no matter how much time you put in, you won't get a particular result, right? So if I want that result, I have to create another system. So one way I could have been the nurse who starts another business on the side and build a business, right? Or I could just leave nursing and start a business. So what I did was I started a business whilst I was still in nursing. When I was doing the business, I realized I loved the business because the whole of my first year, I wasn't really making money. But I didn't even sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was so excited, I couldn't sleep. And that's not how I felt with nursing. So I kept, after a year of doing the business, I left nursing to pursue it full time. And it actually worked for me. It got me the chance to travel the world. So what I'm saying is that you know why, your grand dream, you know why it's important to you. You know, like it's so important to you, you sacrifice some things. The question is, what you are currently doing, why are you doing it? How important is it to you? Right? Is it like, are you, like in my case, if I was super passionate about nursing, how do I do that, feel fulfilled, and then figure out a way and create other systems that gets me to travel the world? And let me give an example. In your case, let's say you are, a corporate worker and you want to travel the world. How do you do it? Maybe your income, you can start saving your income, right? You can research online, look for free countries to travel to or free ways to travel, right? You can become a travel, what do you call it? Content creator, those travel bloggers, right? Most of them, you just start and travel to a few places, be passionate about what you're doing, and then after doing promotion and growing your following a little bit, you can now start sending proposals to hotels and all those people, and then they will give you discounts or like they will give you free, like they will tell you to come free. So you enjoy it, you produce content, you give it to them. Do you get my point? So know where you are, you know where you are going, know why it's important to you, know where you are, what is important to you, why are you doing it? Okay. What are you willing to sacrifice there? What are you willing not to sacrifice? What are the non-negotiables there? When you figure that out, what are the other systems that you can create to get you there? Do you get my point? But most importantly, if you reverse that long-term goal, if you reverse engineer it, like I want to travel the world. If you reverse engineer it, how many countries do you want to do? Right? How many countries do you want to do in the next 5 years? How many countries do you want to do in the next year? Right? If you want to do, let's say, you want to travel the world, you've never been anywhere. Let me give you the best way to start. Just go to Togo. How much will it won't take 400 cities, 500 cities can take you to Togo, spend a night or two there, do a few nice activities there and come back. Right? So now you're actually making steps. So when you go, it will change your whole psyche, your perspective. Like you've done something. And then you start looking at the next step. Maybe instead of doing Togo alone, Togo and Benin are together. Like and they are like from Amasama into Tema. Like you can do both, right? You do that. So you travel to two countries, and then you come back. The next time, go to Abidjan. You can use the bus. Both going to Togo, you can use the bus. Going to Nigeria, you can use the bus. So start from somewhere, and then from there you start building, start saving money. You go to the next country, You start looking for ways to get free flights, cheap tickets, all those things, and then figure the rest out. Is that clear? I hope that is clear.
Yeah, that's very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So now it's not just about answering the question. I want to also put you on the spot. So have you been to any country apart from Ghana?
Yes, I've been to the US and I've been to Romania and Rwanda.
You want to travel the world.
Thank you.
You want to travel the world? That's great.
You want to travel the world?
Okay.
Yes.
And it's important to you.
Very.
So you've been to the US. US is very far. Rwanda very far. Romania is very, very far. Now Togo is close to you, and there are amazing things you can do in Togo. Benin is very close to you. There are amazing things you can do there. So this year, do you plan on visiting any countries, and how many?
You just inspired me to go and visit Togo and Benin, so I think I'll start there.
Awesome. So I'm going to follow up on you on this. So when should I follow up?
By the end of this year.
By the end of this year. Okay. Yes. All right. So I'll follow up to see. Yeah. And then if you need any guidance, of course, all the information is on Google. You can get everything, and YouTube and everything. But if you need any other information too, don't hesitate. All right. Next question. Yao, I think Yao is asking something. Yao, can you unmute yourself and ask the question? Hello? I was asking, how do I go about scaling my dream board? Like you said, we are more likely to underestimate how much we can achieve in long term, but there's a must, so also not too impossible to achieve. Okay. Yeah, aim for the moon. Okay, so you're asking whether to aim for the moon or like go big or go small, or like be considerate. Okay, so yeah, what I would say is that one, go big. All right, that's why it's important to go 10 years. 10 years is a long time, but it's a very short time. It's a time. It's giving yourself enough time to pursue. If you pursue something in 10 years and you are consistently pursuing it, you are learning, you are building, you are iterating, it's enough time to get you to where you're going. And I recommend that everyone on this call should read that book, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It talks about the Beatles. It talks about a lot of, you see, all these iconic people, and it takes you through their journey, like where they came from and how much time they spent on their craft. And usually it's between 10 years, right? So that they became great. Like, it became top 1% of the top 1% in the world when it comes to that field. And then that means that any revenue that comes from that field, if you are top 1% of the top 1%, you are going to get top 1% revenue from that industry. So what I would say is that shoot for the moon. When you are building your dream board, what I want you to take the PDF that I shared. All right, the PDF that has been shared on your page and then in the chat section. Take it, look at your 10-year vision, build that 10-year vision. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Like, go big. Go big for anything that is important to you. Go big for the 10 years. And now reverse engineer it, right? If you want to travel, I want to travel the world like Agatha. I want to do 150 countries, or I want to do 100 countries in the next 10 years. 150 countries is like someone has traveled the world, the whole world, every country in the world in 5 years, right? Someone has done it. So let's say you want to do 100 countries in 10 years, right? Where do you start from? Let's say you've already been to 3, so 97 to go. All right, so this year I'm going to do 2 or 3 or 4, right? Next year, I want to double that figure. So everything I'm doing this year, one, is giving me a gauge on how much money I need, which systems I need to create. But my goal is to do more next year. Do you get it? So build the vision big, make it big. Like, don't limit yourself. Make it big, and then now reverse engineer it into, maybe 5-year goals, 3-year goals, and then a year goal. Right. Then you take it from there. All right. Yeah, Richard. Okay. Now, Agatha, you have a partner, so you can start planning together. Yeah. See how there's alignment. Now you have shared your dream. You are getting partners, and also when you travel together, you save a lot of cost. It makes it easier, and then you have partnership. You can enjoy the experience together. The PDF will be recent. Is there any question before I hand over back to our able and awesome leader to take us through the rest of it. Any question? Any question? Okay, so if there's no question, then I'll quickly wrap up. So what I would say is that I know at a certain point I was talking very fast because so usually any training I do, most of the trainings I do, if you ask Amelia, she will tell you it's usually 2, 3, 4 hours, right? Because I like to take everything. Like it's not just about you being on a training; it's about you experiencing a training that would change your life. That's the whole point of it. So usually we go through the mindset part of it, understanding, and then we do the practicals. So this is a training I usually do for about 4 hours plus the practicals. So I tried to just cramp everything so that you get to understand. But I'm sure I was very clear and then, got those points down. So quickly to wrap up for you, the most amazing instrument, machine ever created in the world is your mind. Like it can get you anything in the world, anything you want, so far as you understand what you want. Number two, if you grew up in Ghana or you grew up in Africa, you have actually been programmed to fail. Like there's so much programming that are negatively there, giving you certain biases and fears and self-limiting beliefs. That's, I promise you, if you don't tackle them, you will get results and you relinquish it because you don't have, like, we are not there. Like it's not like they don't love us. We don't have the systems to train you to express yourself, to live in abundance because most of us, we come from an environment of lack. The country, the culture, the people. So even our religious interpretation is interpreted from lack. There's so much that has been programmed into us that we need to rework our programming, right? So reprogram your mind, work on your mindset, work on your attitude. Number two, most of the things you think you want or we think we want are things that are programmed, things that other people want that we have accepted. You need to sit down and find out what you really want. And it starts by asking yourself the questions, what do I really want? And then making time to go through the activity of knowing what you want. And then the third thing is know what you want, but importantly, know why you want it, because your why is what is going to drive you towards the goal, right? Make it clear, work on your goals, paint that picture, believe that it's possible for you. God created us in abundance, right? Abundance. Everything we want, everything we need to survive is in abundance. Water, food, everything is in abundance, right? Even money, if all the money in the world was shared, everyone would be a millionaire. But the question is, after a while, some people will have the money, they will have more of it, and the people who don't have will have less of it. And this is actually biblical. I don't know if any of you have heard the Matthew effect. To him that has more is given, to him that does not have more is taken away. And if you look at that parable, the thing is, those who had capacity to grow their income and build a business and sell it, they were able to use the 10 talents and then get more, right? Those who didn't have capacity are like, let me go and hide it. They went to save the money. And then when their master came, he took it from them and gave to the people who had capacity, who had skills, who could use what was given to them, right? So what I'm saying is that work on yourself, work on yourself, work on your mindset, work on your attitude, work on your activity. Like whatever career you're in, your goal should be like, I'm going to improve every single day. Like every day I'm going to work towards my inputs. In the next 5 years, 10 years, I'm going to be top 1% in this field. And you can't do it because a lot of people are not thinking that way. Like, so if you're thinking that way, you will get there, right? So thank you very much. I'll hand over back to you, Felicia, so that you will take it from here. Okay, last thing.
Barry,
last thing. If you want to reach out to me.
Sorry, Barry, there's one last question. Let's do that quickly before we go. It says, I wanted to know how someone emotionally abused can work back to believing in themselves to attract good things.
Okay. All right. So yes, what I would say is that if you've been in this, I think in the first place, if you live in Africa or you grew up here, I think there's a certain level of emotional abuse, especially when it comes to your goals and life itself. That's before endured. Most of us have grown tough skin, but it's there, right? Some people have experienced it to a greater level that is affected how they think and what they believe about themselves. Now, what I would say is that first of all, if you actually know that like it's affecting you, that's the most important thing. So that means now you are conscious of the incompetence, right? Of what has happened to you. So then the next step will be like working on consciously on it so that you get better. So I would, I recommend, first of all, I recommend you seeking help in the sense of if there's a career service available, if whether it's life coaching, all those things, like you need another way you can do it is through like YouTube. There's a lot of material on YouTube. If you are not ready to pay someone to guide you and hold your hand through, you can go to YouTube. Now I learned most of the things like to help myself from YouTube first when I didn't have money. Before I started having money and I started buying programs and then getting professional help, right? So you can start from YouTube. You can start from books. Right? I recommend this book for you. Let me type it in the comment section. The book is called Unlimited. What's it? Awaken. No, yeah. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Another book that's also amazing to rework and reprogram your mind is what's the name? Oh, the book is it's by I've forgotten. When I remember it, I'll share it so that you can put it on your page. But it's by a guy called Vishen Lakiani. Yeah, I've forgotten the book. Yeah, but Awaken the Giant Within is an amazing book. It will help you. I actually have one of my Google Drives has the audio. I will share the link so that they can post it, so that you can go in and then listen to it. It will help you a lot. Also, I also do one of my missions is to help people who are not in a position to pay for the help they need. All right. So every single day, I dedicate 1 hour of my life to help people who need what I have. Like give them the same value I would have given someone who was paying $20,000. Same value for 1 hour. So anybody who wants help, like, and you want to do 1 hour free session, what I do basically is help. And when I say help, I believe that I don't have answer to anyone's problem. And nobody has answers to your problem. Nobody in this world, maybe God. Right? But what happens is that you understand your problem. You understand it to a level of context and nuance that no coach, nobody in this world can understand. Right? Now, when we ask you about your problem, most of the time you actually even say it and then cut some things out, some things you are shy of, all those things. The best person to help yourself grow and solve your problems is you. What I do is I can help you ask yourself the most important questions so that you will eventually come to the root cause of the problem. Because most of the time we rationalize the problems and we think something that is an effect is the problem. But there's always a root cause that is causing the problem. So when you're able to ask yourself the right question, you come to the root cause. And then when you come to the root cause and you are ready to work on it, I can now show you systems that can help you, build habits that would help you get out of it and habits that will help you grow and become more efficient. So basically that's the work of a coach. What you do is you hold people's hand, you point them in the right direction, you help them ask themselves the right question. So within the hour we can do that. I can help you. What you need to do is the book that is shared at the 10th page, there's a link to that link. When you click it, it's a Calendly invite link. When you click it, you can schedule a 1 hour and it will show on my calendar so that we can be. So all you need to do is click that link and then you can schedule that meeting. All right. I would love to help anyone get clarity on whatever it is that you want clarity on or whatever help you need. And there's a lot of tools I've helped people use that helps them in different facets of their life to improve themselves and what they do. All right. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Okay. So what I was about to say, conclusion. You can reach me on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, all those other ones. With the name is Diabali, DIAHBALLY. You can reach me on LinkedIn at Obadiah Amankona on LinkedIn. All right. So that's I've shared my name, Obadiah Amankona and Diabali. Those are my handles that you can reach me on. If you want a session, the book, the PDF, the 10-year PDF book contains the link to the Calendly. So you can just click it. It also has my profile. So my short profile, you can see what, yeah, but I look forward to connecting with you. I believe this is a special group and any way I can provide value to you, it will be my pleasure. All right. So thank you very much. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Barry. We really, really appreciate your time. We know there's an AFCON final match day today, so everybody is excited and anticipating to watch the match. So we won't take much of your time. I, however, want to get people to tell us where they are joining the meeting from. So country reps, like if you are repping any country besides, okay, I'll mention the countries and you just give a wave. How many people are joining us from Ghana? My Ghana people, can you wave or say why in the chat session? Yay, Team Ghana. Nice. Anyone from Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. How many people? Oh, Natasha. Yay. Anyone from Rwanda today? Anyone from Rwanda? Anyone from Kenya? Any Kenyan here? Okay. Gambian? Anyone from Gambia? Anyone from Nigeria? Am I missing any country? If I'm missing your country, just type in the chat session. Anyway, thank you all so much for your time. I'll repost Barry's document in our chat group. The video recording will be made available before the end of the week. So those of you who missed the first session can join in. Oh, Ivory Coast, Natasha, I didn't know you in. Anyway, thank you all so much for your time. Have a pleasant Sunday evening. Ahaspora will be conducting a survey for the transition program, so you can all look out for it in our chats, WhatsApp chat. So you give us feedback on how you feel about this program and how you want us to improve on it. We love you all and we appreciate your time. Have a good Sunday evening and enjoy the AFCON. Good night.